Did you know that more than 55% of UK breads contain 2 or more pesticides in a single loaf? Those breads are filled with additives to make them last longer and look more visually appealing, while sacrificing your health with additives that are illegal in Europe. But the good news is there are 5 bread brands in the UK that actually produce bread the right way. Real fermentation, real ingredients, real nutrition. And I'm going to show you exactly where to find them, what they cost, and which one is right for you. First, here are 3 things you must check before any loaf goes in your trolley. 1. Flip it over and count the ingredients. Real bread needs flour, water, salt, and thyme. If you're staring at 15 ingredients, including things like E472E and calcium propionate, put it back. Your gut doesn't recognize those as food. Second, forget the squeeze test. That old trick doesn't work anymore. Industrial bakeries add up to 4.8 grams of fat per slice to keep bread artificially soft for weeks. Third, look for fermentation time. Good bread says slow fermented or lists actual hours. If there's no mention of fermentation, that bread was likely made using the Chorleywood process, the 1961 industrial method behind 80% of UK bread that requires chemical assistance to work at all. Let me show you the 5 brands that actually pass the test. Your first option is Jason's sourdough, and here's why. The Great White Sourdough costs £2.15 at Tesco. For that price, you're getting bread made with a 45-year-old mother culture and 24 hours of fermentation. No commercial yeast touches the loaves, just wild yeast doing what it's done for centuries. What makes Jason's different from the industrial sourdoughs pretending to be authentic? This comes from Geary's Bakeries in Leicestershire, a 4th-generation family operation that's been baking since 1906. That's 119 years of expertise. Master baker Jason Geary invested £15 million into dedicated sourdough facilities because he refused to cut corners. The ingredient list is short: wheat flour, water, rye flour, salt, and fermented wheat flour. Compare that to a standard Hovis loaf with its parade of emulsifiers and preservatives. Your body knows the difference, even if your eyes can't tell on the shelf. You can pick this up in over 4,000 stores across the UK. Tesco, Sainsbury's, Morrison's, Waitrose, Asda, M&S. It's genuinely accessible. But it's not your only option. Biona Organic Rye sits in the health food aisle, and most people walk right past it. That's a mistake you don't want to make. At £2.75 to £3.10 for 500 grams, this isn't the cheapest bread on the shelf. But here's what that price actually gets you. A glycemic index of 30 to 55 compared to 70 to 100 for white bread. That means your blood sugar rises gradually instead of spiking and crashing. You stay fuller longer. You don't get that 3 p.m. energy crash that sends you hunting for biscuits. The ingredient list is almost absurdly simple. Whole grain rye meal, water, sourdough starter, and sea salt. 4 ingredients: no commercial yeast, no additives, no preservatives. This bread comes from a family bakery in Germany that's been operating since 1927. Nearly 100 years of doing things the traditional way. Rye delivers 10 grams of fibre per 100 grams compared to about 2.4 grams in white bread. Studies show it reduces LDL cholesterol and improves digestive comfort. If you've ever felt bloated after eating regular bread, rye often solves that problem because sourdough fermentation breaks down the compounds your gut struggles to process. You'll find Biona at Ocado, Tesco, Holland & Barrett, and most independent health food shops. The texture is denser than you're used to, but that density is the whole point. 2 slices of this actually fill you up. 2 slices of industrial bread leave you hungry an hour later. M&S Collection Sourdough represents something unusual in supermarket bread. A major retailer actually doing fermentation properly. This bread ferments for over 35 hours. That's not marketing spin. That's verified production time at Village Bakery in Wrexham, where M&S invested £16 million in a dedicated sourdough production line. The loaves are hand-folded, proved slowly, and baked on Italian marble. No commercial yeast, no artificial additives. M&S sells 75,000 of these loaves every single week across 500 stores. At around £3 to £4 per loaf from the in-store bakery, you're paying premium supermarket prices. But you're getting bread made with wild-farmed flour, wheat grown using regenerative farming with no pesticides, herbicides, or fungicides. M&S is the only major supermarket partnering with wild-farmed at this scale. That means your bread purchase is actually supporting farmers who are healing the soil rather than depleting it. Check the ingredient list on M&S Collection sourdough and compare it to their standard soft white farmhouse. The standard loaf contains E471, E472E, palm oil and ascorbic acid. The Collection sourdough? Wheat flour, water, semolina, rye flour, salt and malt. That's the difference. £1 to £2 extra buys you. The catch is availability. This comes from M&S in-store bakeries, not the packaged bread aisle, and it's not available for online delivery. You need to physically visit an M&S food hall. But if there's one near you, this is the best sourdough you'll find in any mainstream supermarket. Full stop. Hobbs House Bakery takes everything we've discussed and pushes it further. This is what bread looks like when a family dedicates 5 generations to perfecting it. Their organic wild white sourdough costs £5 for 800 grams. That's significantly more than supermarket bread. But this loaf ferments for 14 hours using a sourdough starter that's over 65 years old, originally brought from Germany around 1960. The flour is organic. The bakery holds B Corp certification and just received the 2025 King's Award for Enterprise in Sustainable Development, one of only 27 businesses in the entire UK to earn that recognition this year. The ingredient list: organic flour, water, organic rye flour and sea salt. Nothing else. This is bread reduced to its purest form. You won't find Hobbs House in Tesco or Sainsbury's. You'll need to visit their bakeries in Gloucestershire, order online for nationwide delivery, or find them at farm shops and delis across the southwest. That limited availability is the trade-off for uncompromising quality. If you've never tasted bread from a 5th-generation bakery using methods refined over 100 years, Hobbs House shows you what you've been missing. This is what bread tasted like before the Industrial Revolution turned it into a processed commodity. But here's the truth. The absolute best bread isn't a brand at all. It's your local, independent, real bread bakery. The Real Bread campaign maintains a free map at sustainweb.org listing over 570 bakeries across the UK making genuine, additive-free bread. Type in your postcode and you'll find bakers near you who ferment their dough for 12 to 24 hours, source flour from local mills, and wouldn't dream of adding emulsifiers or preservatives. Look for the loaf mark, an orange badge that guarantees additive-free bread. Ask the baker 3 questions. Is this baked on site from scratch? How long does it ferment? Do you use any processing aids? A real baker will answer proudly. Someone reheating frozen dough will change the subject. Some names worth knowing depending on where you live. Lovingly Artisan in Kendal has been ranked Britain's #1 bakery for 3 consecutive years. E5 Bakehouse in Hackney mills heritage grains on site. Farrow in Bristol grinds ancient einkorn in-house. Hart's Bakery near Bristol Temple Meads has become a destination in its own right. In Scotland, Wild Hearth in Perthshire uses flour from Scotland the bread. In Wales, Pettigrew in Cardiff ferments their sourdough over 72 hours. These aren't just bakeries, they're craftspeople, preserving techniques that industrial bread tried to erase. Your local real bread baker might cost slightly more than supermarket prices, but you're supporting someone who chose quality over shortcuts, and your body will thank you for it. Quick recap for your next shop. On a tight budget? Biona rye at £2.75 gives you the best health benefits per pound, with 4 times the fibre and half the glycemic impact. Shopping at a major supermarket? Jason's at £1.85 with Club Card delivers genuine 24-hour fermentation without changing where you shop. Near an M&S? Their collection sourdough with 35-hour fermentation is the premium choice, and you're supporting regenerative farming. Willing to seek out quality? Hobbs House or your local real bread bakery represents the gold standard of what bread can be. One rule to remember: if you can't pronounce the ingredients, your gut can't process them either. Flip the pack, count the ingredients. Choose bread that's actually bread. Which one surprised you the most? Drop your experience in the comments. And if you want to watch a video like this one, click the video on the screen. Thanks for watching.